Hello everyone and welcome to Access 2013 How-To. My name is Steve Bishop, and in this video we're going to talk about how to export data to a Microsoft Word document. So we know that Access has a wonderful reporting facility in it that even allows us to export our reports to Microsoft Word, but sometimes you have a Microsoft Word document that's already pre-created or drafted up, and you just want to take some of the data from out of Access and insert it into Microsoft Word. Now, what I'm going to show you is a very simple example. This isn't going to be really complicated. I'm not going to be putting like full tables into Microsoft Word or doing any sort of special development within Microsoft Word. I'm just going to show you a basic inserting of data from an Access table into a Microsoft Word document. Now, this is especially helpful for things like newsletters or inserts that you might want to address to various customers and send those mailers out to your customers, and you just want to include things like the customer name or their address and that sort of thing. So without further delay, let's go ahead and hop into our Access database. So for this example, I have 3 records in a table called Table Names, or TBL Names. And you can see I just have an auto-numbered ID field with a first name, middle name, and a last name, and I have 3 records here of fictional characters. I also have a Word document here, and looking at the Word document, you can see a place that we clearly would want to put the first name, middle name, and a last name of each record that we have in our table, as well as an actual sentence here that's been typed out where I probably want to insert some information like the first name of the person. So our first example would be like Alfred E. Newman. So I'd want Alfred here, E for middle name, and Newman for last name. And then I'd want to say for example, hello Alfred, I am writing you because I have nothing better to do. So that's the example that I've set up for you in this demonstration. So the first thing we need to do is prepare our Word document. We need to put some sort of indication or marker of where within this Word document do we want to put each one of those pieces of information. And the way that you do that is by using a special thing called bookmarks. You can get to the bookmarks by going to the Insert tab, and then right here you can see under links it says bookmark. And if you click on bookmark, you can go ahead and add a bookmark. I'm not ready just yet to do that though, so I'm going to cancel out of this. And I need to place the cursor in the location that I want my bookmark to be. So here, just after first name colon with a little space there, right where the cursor is flashing is where I want to insert my bookmark. So I'm going to leave my cursor there and I'm going to click on bookmark. And now up here in this little text area, I can type out the name of what I want to name this bookmark. I'm just going to call it first name, and then I'll click on add. Now the dialog window goes away so that you can go back to the document and we can add another one. So I'm going to do one here for the middle name. I'll just click on bookmark again, and you can see there's my first bookmark that I created called first name. And you do need to be careful because if I just clicked on add, that would actually just move this first name bookmark to the new cursor location. So I need to be sure to type in some sort of new name for this bookmark. That's just going to be middle name. We'll click on add again. Then we'll do the same thing for last name. And finally down here, after hello but before the comma, I'm going to add one more bookmark. And I'm going to call this greeting, and we'll click on add. Now the bookmark dialog is very easy to use, and I like some of this. You can, if you're kind of lost on where, for example, the first name bookmark is, you can select it and then click on the go to button, and that will actually go to it'll move your cursor to that location of where that bookmark is. So now that it's at first name, if I click on bookmark again and I say I want to find out where the greeting bookmark is and click on go to, you can see that it jumps the cursor down here to where that greeting bookmark is. Another really nice thing is that you can actually sort these according to their location within the document. So you can see that the first bookmark is called first name, the second bookmark is middle name, and then last name, and then greeting. So just a couple of nice little things that you can do in order to find out exactly where those bookmarks are located within your Word document. Okay, so now that we got our bookmarks, let's go ahead and close that and save our document. And now I'm going to go back to the Access database. Let's go ahead and go into our Visual Basic window, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new module. And in this module, I'm going to create a public subroutine. We'll call this Export Names to Word, and I'm not going to pass in any parameters here. Now, in order for me to work with Word documents inside of VBA code, I need to bring in the references to Microsoft Word. So I need to go up to Tools, References, and then I'm going to scroll down here to Microsoft. We're looking for Microsoft Word. Now, I have the 15.0 object library because I'm using Office 2013 for this demonstration, but you might have a different number there for your version number. Just make sure that it's the Microsoft Word object library. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. I need to go ahead and dim a couple of objects so that we can work with our Word document. The first object I'm going to call WApp, and it's a type of Word application. Okay, so we're actually opening up a version or an instance of Microsoft Word. Then I'm going to go ahead and dim a WDoc as a type of Word document. So this is going to be the actual document that we open up. So we can go ahead and set our WApp object equal to a new instance of Word application. And to go and set up our Word document, the actual document we're going to work with, you have to set it equal to some sort of result back. So we're going to do WApp, and within the WApp application, there is a collection called Documents, and on the Documents collection, there is not the add function or the add method, but we want to do the open method. And you can see on the open method, if I put the parenthesis here, we get the IntelliSense that tells us that we need to pass in a file name, which is just a string. But you can see at the very end of the IntelliSense, it returns back as document. So the result from the open method is that it returns back a type of document. And that just so happens to be a Word document, which we are creating here as WDoc. So WDoc is an object of a type Word document. So when this open method opens up that file, it's going to return a type of document, and we can set it equal to Word to the WDoc object. So I need to go out and get the file name here, and I'm just going to copy this from my Windows Explorer. Oops, wrong window. And we'll just paste this in here. And I know that the name of my document is myletter.docx, and that will open up that particular document. And I could, of course, do all these other fancy little parameters here if I have passwords or, any sort of XML transforms or stuff like that. I don't need to do any of that. I'm just going to go ahead and open the document without passing any of those extra parameters. Okay, so now that I have my Word document open, I also need to go out and get the data and put it in some sort of object, okay? So the way I'm going to do that is something you guys should all be familiar with by now. I'm just going to go ahead and dim a record set and I'm going to specify DAO.recordSet. And then we're going to go ahead and set our record set equal to current DB open record set, and I'm just going to pass in the table names. Now this could be a query, this could be a string query, so you could do a whole select statement if you wanted to, or some sort of saved query in Access, but I'm just going to go ahead and access the table directly. And now I'm just going to run through my record set. So we'll do if not rs end of file. So we're just checking to see, do we have any records in the record set? If we do, then rs move to the first one. All right, then we'll do until rs eof. So we'll loop through our record sets until we reach the end. And for each iteration, we need to move the cursor to the next record. And before we do that move to the next record, this is where we can put our code in that's going to take the data from our record set and insert it into our Word document. Now the way you do that is by accessing on the Word document a collection of bookmarks. So that's that bookmarks collection of all of those bookmarks that we created here in our Word document. And if we take a look at it, we can see that we again have them all named here. And it just so happens that on the bookmarks collection, since it is a collection, it's an indexed collection. And that means I can pass along the name of the bookmark I want to get to. So for this case, in the first example, I'm going to do first name. So the first bookmark is first name. And on the bookmark that I've selected there, first name, there's a special property called range. And within the range property, there's another property called text. So this is where I can actually set the text of the range of that bookmark. And then I can assign that whatever the text is that I want, which would be coming from our record set, first name. Now, a couple of things that I should probably do here, or at least one thing I should do here, is I should do a null to zero on this, just in case the data that comes from the first name is null. I don't try to pass in a null value to that text property because that will cause an error. So doing a null to zero and then saying that if it is null, pass in a string, an empty string, then that will basically eliminate the potential for any particular problems from that. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, and I know that I'm going to need to do this 4 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we'll just go through here and we'll fix the name. So this is going to be middle name because the middle name bookmark is the one that I put the middle name from the record set to. So we'll do middle name bookmark gets the middle name from our record set. And same thing for last name. And then finally, this last bookmark was called greeting, right? So we have a greeting bookmark that's going to be where the hello and then the comma. And I'm just going to use the first name of the person that we're sending this to. Now, after we change the data in our bookmarks, let's go ahead and save the document. So we'll do wdoc save, and I'm going to do save as to. And the save as to method just takes a I can specify the new file name of where I want to save this as. So that way I keep the original document intact here, and I don't have to, worry about, saving it and then moving it using a file system object or anything like that. I could just use just keep saving it as a new document each time that I have a new customer that I want to address this to. So we'll go ahead and take this folder path here that I used up above. Oops, forgot my space. And we'll just concatenate this together. I'm going to do the record set ID. So I'm just going to make sure that this is unique, I'm just going to use the ID value for the name of each document that gets created. And we'll concatenate onto that my letter.docx. And that will save each iteration, each time that I put this data in, it will save it as a new Word document. So let's go ahead and save that. And I need to, well, actually, let's save this as export to Word. And I need to actually close out of my Word document now before I can run this, because if you have the Word document open, then this will have a hard time opening the document. It'll say that it's already opened. Do you want to open it as read as? And obviously, if we're going to change the data inside of the document, we can't open it as read as. So we need to make sure we're out of the Word document before we try to run this. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's run export names to Word and see what we get. So if I just look inside my folder here, we can see my letter, docx, and look at that, Alfred E. Newman. Hello, Alfred, I'm writing you because I have nothing better to do. So that worked on the first one. Let's take a look at the second one here. And this is, Azor Alfred E. Ahai Newman. Hello, Azor Alfred. That's not what we wanted. We didn't want to concatenate all that. And that's because what's happening here is we're just simply reinserting the next value from each record. We're inserting it. So it's not overwriting it, and it's not taking out or deleting or replacing the original text. So we need to do something like that. And I can just confirm that here, that it does it again in the third one by putting all three of the first and last names together. So that's not the behavior we're looking for. Let's just go ahead and delete those. And so what we need to do is after we've saved the document, we need to go ahead and delete what's in there. So before we move on to the next record, let's go ahead and do wdoc. Actually, I'm going to copy all 4 of these and we'll paste this again. So all 4 of these bookmarks, we need to go in and delete the text that's in there. Now the way you do that is on the range property, instead of doing .text, you can do .delete. And the delete method takes a type of unit and a count. Now the unit could be things like the number of words or the number of characters. And in this case, I want to delete the same number of characters that we inserted. So I'm just going to go ahead and do wd character, and that is an enumerable, so that's just an enum value of wd character that indicates that I want to delete by the specified number of characters. And the number of characters I want to delete after the bookmark is going to be, the length that we get from null to 0 of the first name. So just like that. Now let's go to this next one and we'll do the same thing. So we'll do, for middle name, we want to delete wd character, the length, null to 0 of middle name, and the same thing for last name, delete wd character, length of the null to 0 last name, and finally, let's get this greeting too. Greeting. So we'll do .delete wd character, length, null to 0 of the first name. Okay, let's see what we get with a debug. I just want to make sure I didn't fat finger anything, and that looks good. Okay, so that will delete the characters before the next iteration through the record set, but after we've saved the document. So let's see what that looks like. Let's go ahead and run this export again, and we'll take a look here. We have one, my letter, okay, Alfred E. Newman, that looks good. Second one, Azor Ahai, all right, hello Azor, that looks good. Let's take a look at the third one. And, uh-oh, we have blanks. Blanks. How did we get blanks? Well, let's go ahead and delete these 3 letters again. And what happened is that we saved, once we changed the data, even after we saved it, the document was still actually open. So when we went to open the third letter, it just opened up the instance that was already open, and we ended up just saving the document with nothing in it. Okay, so even though we saved the document as something else, so now we're on document number 3, for example. Once we're at document number 3, we then deleted the data within document 3, and then we exited out. So we actually need to fix this by making sure that we don't save the data from the last document. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to tell the document to close, but when it does, you can see that the close method says, do you want to save the changes? We're going to say false. Okay, so if you left that by default, it's true. And if you left that as true, it would save your last iteration through with blanks, because again, we just blanked out the values there on the 3rd time through. And even though we saved it, it still went to that saved document, that document number 3, and changed it all to blanks. And then once we closed out of Word, it saved it that way. So that's the default behavior. Now, if we do close, but we say, no, don't save the data on the last time through, then that will work. And then we'll also go ahead and close the application by doing wapp quit. And just for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and set wdoc equal to nothing, and set wapp equal to nothing. And why not? We'll do set rs equal to nothing. Okay, just good garbage cleanup. We'll save that, debug it, compile. All right, let's take one last rip at this and make sure that everything works the way we need it to. So export names to Word, hit enter, And let's take a look at our documents. So I'm just going to check out this last one here, and that should tell us everything. So yep, there we go. First name is Kaiser, middle name is blank, last name is Sose. Hello Kaiser, I'm writing you because I have nothing better to do. So there we go. We have successfully inserted data into all three of these letters. We saved them individually as their own letters. And obviously we could, instead of saving them, we could certainly print them out if you'd prefer. Whatever you want to do with these documents, obviously that's up to you at that particular point. But there you go. That is how you export data from an Access database or query. Again, you could just change this record set to some sort of query that comes from a SQL server or some other data source, just like we have it here coming from the table names. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys learned something from it. And if you did, please like this video and don't forget to favorite it and subscribe to my channel so you can get notified of more videos.